child, I always wanted a dog, and my parents would never let me have one. So as soon as I could, I got my own dog, and I've always loved dogs. Is Napa. He's my foster dog at the moment. I only have one dog now, and so I try to foster as often as possible. His story is not so great. They think he was abused and starved, and then went to a shelter and lived most of his life at the shelter, where not many dogs get adopted from, and only one rescue group pulls from. And so he came to me. They give me the special needs ones. He was covered in mange. This is actually him getting better, but he's a happy kid. A horrible life to like the best life. So.
And that's how it should be for every dog.
Exactly, especially for these guys. You know, opening a bag of treats one time for Coco, and it just smelled like really strained. And so I started to look into what was in dog food and dog treats. And I just kind of thought like that I could make something better for her on my own. I knew that I wanted to start my own business in the dog world. It was supposed to be a dog daycare, and I thought about, you know, in that daycare there would be a bakery, we would have a taxi to bring them back and forth. I had big lofty ideas, but we started with the bakery, started baking out of my apartment, and then thought, well, let me just take them around town and see if any of the pet stores here would be interested in buying them. I would just sneak there, walk by at night and look in their windows when they were closed just to see if they were selling any of them, and they were. And the places reordered, and that just was what started the business. There's some people that are like, oh, my dog won't even appreciate it. They'll, you know, eat it in 2 seconds. And then there are people that are like, oh no, like, you know, we want to give our dogs something good, and we know that they'll love it. Even if they eat it in 2 seconds, they love it. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's that kind of customer. And then we just have over-the-top customers too that are just, you know, absolutely crazy about their dogs.
Renaissance of how people treat their dogs
I
now?
think so. I mean, it seems to be getting better, you know, which is good across the board. But I think people, although they're still surprised, some people are still surprised by us, most people like aren't. They love our stuff and they think it's crazy looking and they think it's really cool, but they're not as shocked as they used to be. Like, oh my, a dog bakery, what the heck, you know, what is that? Like people still react that way, but not as much. We have an ice cream social. Every Thursday night we make ice cream here, and the dogs love it, and we have a little ice cream party. So all the dogs come, they each get their individual ice cream, the owners all hang out, and we've actually had a lot of people meet and become friends and go to each other's Christmas parties and stuff because of the ice cream social, which is super cool. Like, that's awesome. I love that.
So what goes into ice cream?
The ice cream is non-fat yogurt, peanut butter, honey, and nonpareils.
So it's almost like a
It's like frozen yogurt, essentially.
and it's like the first day of spring that we're having for it, isn't it?
It's what?
It's like the first day of spring that we're having for it right now, today.
Yeah.
So what are the socials like?
Some of these people have become friends by coming to the ice cream social. Like, their dogs hang out and they hang out. They have parties and invite each other. A lot of them, the regulars, know each other now, you know, and they just come in. Sometimes they'll bring their own beer, their own wine, and hang out while the dogs are eating ice cream and playing.
Whose idea was it for the ice cream social?
It was Krista's idea for it, and it started out, we just did it once to try and get people in here, and it was so popular that it just became like an every Thursday sort of deal, and now people, like, even if we don't send out email about it, people show up anyway, you know?
So you're one of the bakers here as well, or?
I am. I bake and decorate, and I'm the manager, so I do, like, you know, pretty much everything that she does. And
to show our customers and to give them something to do with their dog. It brings a lot of people out. We have regulars that come every single Thursday. We do it every Thursday, and they come every Thursday. If they're not here, I worry. I have one woman, she's missed one because she had car trouble.
We shop at the places where the restaurants here shop. You go to Restaurant Depot and get things from Cisco. So you could eat anything that we make. It's weird. This doesn't have anything to do with pets, but a bar crawl came through. We were stopped on a pub crawl where everyone that came in got more points if they ate dog treats. So I had about 25, like 20-year-olds in the front of the shop eating our dog treats.
So can humans eat dog treats?
Yes, yeah. You can eat these for sure. Oh, and I have another customer who orders cupcakes for her husband Dan because he likes them, and he knows that they're for dogs, but he likes them. They're like his favorite treat.
First dog wedding that we heard about was when we did it. It was Better Mornings Atlanta, and it was one of the anchors that called because she was going to marry her dog on TV, and she wanted us to do the wedding cake.
We did 3 dog wedding cakes that we took to the news station. I forget which one it was. And they had a competition basically, like where people could come, go to the website and vote for the one that they liked the best, and then we recreated the one that won for the actual wedding between 2 greyhounds.
Most of our cakes are made with a peanut butter carrot recipe. It's peanut butter, carrots, honey, vanilla, eggs, and the icing is cream cheese. But this one we did like a tiered cake. We did a tiered bone cake, and then we did just a tiered cake with pictures all the way around it, and then we did a big heart cake with like the 2 dogs kissing in the middle of it.
A dog wedding, do you do a consult with the...
For this, yeah, we do, because people who have weddings for their dogs actually put a lot of thought and take it very, very seriously. So it's almost the same as doing a wedding cake for a person. They have expectations, they want things a certain way, they have color schemes, they have save the date cards, they have invitations that need to match. So yeah, it's pretty important that we understand and we set expectations as well, because we're a little bit limited in that we don't use fondant and we can't use things that are super sweet. We have to use things that are healthy and then still make it look good. The wedding cake we did for them was part of a theme. I know that Sarah, who planned the wedding, we consulted a couple times back and forth, and then we decided on she wanted like a zebra, like an animal striped cake, and she also wanted a hoopah that the dogs could sit under. So she had little specially made figurines of the 2 dogs for the top of the cake, and then the hoopah needed to be like on top of those, and that was edible and made of peanut butter. And probably the I don't know how successful that was, but I think it came out, in the end, it came out cute. It was kind of a pain to try to make something edible, an edible cookie to sit on top of the cake, on top of the figurines, but it all came out, it looked good.
The wedding cake.
So what goes into decorating a wedding cake for a dog?
Lots of time and effort. It was so big that the bottom layer, I actually just baked it flat, and then I hand cut the bone shape out of it and added 2 of them together to make the bottom layer thick enough and to make it big enough. And then I used the bone-shaped cake trays that we have to make the other 2 layers.
And I think you guys made the kiddish cup as well, didn't you?
Yeah, she made that. So you'll have to ask her how she went about making that part of it out of cookie.
Because it was devoured. They actually, because it was a Jewish wedding, they broke the biscuit and fed it to the dogs, and they were like fighting over it.
Nice.
It was really
so
cute.
did you film the wedding?
Actually, I performed the wedding.
You performed it?
Yes.
That's
It was
awesome.
actually my second wedding. It's one of those things. The older you get, you try to remember that you're supposed to keep things quiet. And when I told Sarah that I had married my friends Andy and Judy, who I had introduced, she's like, "Well, you've got to marry Sidman and Phoenix." And so I ended up writing the vows, incorporated, because he's Jewish, much like Sarah. I had to incorporate the Jewish wedding vows into it as well.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. A dog wedding, do you do a consult with the...
For this, yeah, we do, because people who have weddings for their dogs actually put a lot of thought and take it very, very seriously. So it's almost the same as doing a wedding cake for a person. They have expectations, they want things a certain way, they have color schemes, they have save the date cards, they have invitations that need to match. So yeah, it's pretty important that we understand and we set expectations as well, because we're a little bit limited in that we don't use fondant and we can't use things that are super sweet. We have to use things that are healthy and then still make it look good. But I think it's a lot of fun. There's a community who, on a regular basis, they do a puppy prom, and they have themes. We just did a cake for them a couple days ago. The theme was meant to be, and it was super cute, and they told us the color scheme that they were having, and we followed that, and they loved it. And I just think that that's kind of a cool thing that we do for them. And they have like a backdrop set up where they take the pictures at the puppy prom. They dress up, they take their photos, they have cake. They probably dance. I don't know.
Do you dress your dogs up?
I do. I admit it. I used to not, but it's hard when there's like clothes in my shop because we sell a little bit of clothes and stuff. And so, yeah, I do dress them up. Coco has a couple coats. I change out her collars on a regular basis. So, yeah.